Greetings. I wanted to talk a little bit about the SnS kettle. I bought this around 2019, 2020, something like that. I think it was a fairly new item. Maybe it had been out for a year or so, I can't remember. But I got one of the early ones. This is your gray SnS kettle. So this flange has been bugging me ever since I bought it and ever since I put it together. The flange here, as you can see, is not flush with the bowl. It pulls away from the bowl. It's flush with the bowl here, but when you get to here, it pulls away, and this will not touch the bowl. So what does that mean? That means you got air when it's in the closed position. I'm going to move it here with my hand. When it's in the closed position and you got a fire going here, you want your fire to go out, the fire is going to be pulling oxygen, which means the fire is going to be pulling air out of this crack. So you're not going to be able to suffocate the fire as you would want to. There's going to be oxygen coming in. Now you can use the top vent to close it off, and for the most part the top vent coupled with a tight-fitting lid is going to solve the problem. But nonetheless, this curve here on this flange is geometrically incorrect. It's not the correct bend here, and it's not because it got worn out. It's because that's the way it was designed. You can't push it down because it never touched in the first place. And you might think that's not a big deal, but they have this other thing right here. They call this the smoke hole. Okay, so you move this out like that, and that way the idea is that you can control the intake by closing off this lid, this flange, closing off the intake, and then you can use this to decide how much air you want flowing in there for a nice slow cook. That way you can see exactly how close it is for your when you're trying to achieve whatever low temp you want, like 225, and it would be handy. However, it's kind of silly because you've already got air leaking here. So even when this thing is closed off completely, you've got air leaking here. And I found that I can actually cook with this smoke hole completely closed because I've got air coming in here, and I can monitor the air with the top vent. So it just kind of does away with the usefulness of this smoke hole here. So it's unfortunate, and maybe the new modern ones have this flange fixed, I'm not sure, but that's a problem. The second problem is that it's very loose. It's not tight like the Weber is. If I move this rod, you can see this rod here. It's underneath here, right? I'm moving this, and as you can see, there's nothing happening. It's just so worn out. And that's all the way to the right. That's all the way to the left. Basically, it's completely worn out. But it was loose even when I first put it together. And I noticed how much wiggle room it had. It had way too much wiggle room. It wasn't right. But right now, this thing is well, right now it's barely usable. So I guess I have to get a new one. But I was just using this yesterday, and it wasn't this bad. So I don't know what is happening. But the whole thing is just loose, and I guess it needs to be replaced. I'm going to try to, well, I was going to try to glue it. Oh, look. It just broke. Just now. This is not, I was not planning on this. Well, maybe I can fix this. I'm not sure what is going on. But, anyway, let's look at the Weber. This is the Weber I have. I bought this like a year or two after I bought that SnS. I mean, I've had Webers for 35 years. Weber Kettles is a 22.5 inch, just like the SnS is a 22.5 inch. And, you know, the flange here is tight. You move this at all, there's zero play. It's connected. The rod and the flange is all, seems to be one piece. There's no wiggle room at all. And when you close it, it closes completely. And when you open it, it opens it completely. And the tips are almost perfectly touching the bowl. I believe when it was new, it was perfectly touching the bowl. And maybe now it's pulled up a little bit, but there's no issue with it, with closing it and cutting off the intake. Okay, now I'm going to go look at my SnS and see if I can figure out if I can fix it.